Stugotz here for 1-800-Flowers. Let's be real. If your big Mother's Day surprise consists of one well-crafted text message, you need to go back to the drawing board ASAP. Moms deserve more than just emojis. Do it right this year and celebrate Mom with this special limited-time offer from 1-800-Flowers.com. Right now, you can take care of all the mothers on your list. 1-800-Flowers will give you 24 multicolored roses plus a free vase for just $29.99. It's an incredible offer that Mom would approve of. With a bright and beautiful mix of premium roses in a rainbow of colors, these blooms are guaranteed to make her smile. Multicolored roses are the perfect way to surprise all the moms in your life. Wife, aunt, sister, grandma. These breathtaking roses from 1-800-Flowers are picked at their peak and shipped overnight to ensure freshness. 24 multicolored roses plus a free vase for just $29.99 is an amazing offer. But hurry, because it expires Thursday. Just pick your delivery date, and 1-800-Flowers will handle the rest. Don't put this off, guys. I'm telling you, order today from 1-800-Flowers.com. It's what Mom would want you to do. To order 24 multicolored roses plus a free vase for just $29.99. Simple. Go to 1-800-Flowers.com. Click the radio icon. Enter code Dan. That's 1-800-Flowers.com, code Dan. But you better hurry. The offer ends Thursday.
Squirrels are known for saving, but with the help of AARP, they won't be the only ones. From planning to budgeting, AARP is here to help you stretch your dollar further. So take on today and every day with AARP. Learn how at takeontoday.aarp.
This is the worst of the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz podcast.
We'll get to sports in a second. Chris Paul did things last night that Stugotz wants him to do in the next round, and the round after that. Do it in the next round, Chris Paul, even though the next round has not started yet.
Right.
Do it in the next round. But Chris Paul goes crazy last night and finishes Utah. Before we get to that, though, I've just got a question. As technology changes, as you have more ability to get at everything in terms of advancement, Bezos is going to create a commerce system at some point where drones are just flying into your house with your packages. As we can do all of that, why can we not make a leaf blower that's quiet? I came in here today, I'm walking along the beach, and there are 3 people with leaf blowers, and they are making more noise than the garbage trucks that are taking in trash. And I'm like, how is it possible that in 2018 we can't make a quiet leaf blower? Is it that the engine required to blow at that speed makes it that it can't be quiet? Like, I don't understand how Bezos hasn't figured this one out for us yet. Because all of you are annoyed by being woken by these leaf blowers, aren't you? This is
Oh, absolutely.
On your weekends or whenever it is, these leaf blowers are all. Guillermo, put it on the poll. Is the leaf blower a national menace? A national morning time menace?
The quietest leaf blower on the market is the Echo leaf blower. It generates only 65 decibels. I am with you on this, though, because the leaf blower, yes, gets me every single weekend, and it terrifies my dog. Like, my dog hears that thing, and he is barking at all the
I just don't think in 2018 we have something that's less technologically advanced than the leaf blower. What am I looking for here? I'm just looking for something that blows leaves. Let me do it the loudest way possible.
That's that whole gas-powered leaf blower thing, man. People can't shake it. There are electric leaf blowers out there that are far quieter, but people just won't stay away.
Leaf blowers are also an advancement in technology that are not more efficient, because leaf blowers, you can't really control where the leaves are going, so you're just spreading a mess. A rake is a lot more efficient when collecting leaves.
I love a good rake.
And by the way, leaf blowers are also very inconsiderate, because if it's just grass that you're just blowing it into your neighbor's yard or into the street or whatever. You're just blowing it out of your thing, so it's not your problem anymore.
The leaf blower is selfish.
Yeah, the leaf blower is the most selfish of the tools.
But wait a second. Don't you use the leaf blower to organize the leaves? Put them in one general vicinity, and then you rake them into a bag. That's what you're supposed to do, right?
Them into a bag. Are you the one putting them in a bag?
I'm not saying
I know someone might be putting it in a bag. That's Mother Nature's problem. I'm putting it in a bag.
If you can control where leaves go while using a leaf blower, you deserve a Medal of Honor.
I want to know the origins of the leaf blower. I want to know what kind of industry this has been, what kind of business this has been, because somebody came up with this idea whenever they came up with it, and I don't think the version we have today is any better than that version.
It's like when your mom tells you to clean up your room, and all you do is just put everything in the closet.
Yeah.
Or
That's
in
what the leaf
corner.
blower does.
That's what, yeah.
Not even. It's like if your mom told you to clean up your room and you just grab things, you threw one in this direction, another in that direction. You just spread out the mess
But
so it looks
loudly,
less messy.
but
Yeah,
loudly, not
like you're just
quietly.
yelling. Ah!
That's right.
It's a leaf blower.
That's right.
So I think the problem here is the leaf blower is relatively new. It was invented by a gentleman named Dom Quinto in the 1950s, late 1950s. So there hasn't really been enough time to make the serious advancements on that particular thing that you want.
You know why it was invented only recently? Because the rake was perfect. The rake was more than fine.
That's a good tool. Yeah. Rake's a great tool.
You guys think that you want to rank the rakes? You want to rank the tools?
I mean, rake is essentially an outdoor broom, right?
Yeah.
But there are outdoor brooms too. So now
there
this is
are outdoor
confusing.
brooms.
The push. Oh, those are such badass brooms.
Oh, yeah.
Guillermo,
Yes.
by the end of this segment, I want your top 10 list of tools.
It's a lot of pressure.
I know.
One segment.
but
You mean it's not ready to go?
Hold on. We all have hammer number one, right?
Nah, I got screwdriver. Screwdriver, because you know what? If you're in desperate need of a hammer, turn the screwdriver around, use the handle.
Have you guys seen these drills that have two different drill heads and you just flip it? So it's good if you're going to drill a hole and put in a screw because you can drill the hole and then you just flip the head and then you put in the screw. It's great.
Does the hammer not have to be the Alabama football of the tool
No,
kingdom?
because anything can be a hammer. Cavemen didn't need hammers. They made hammers out of stone. You can get a science book and make that a hammer.
Yeah.
But you can't make a science book a screwdriver, Dan.
Okay.
The drill is the king of tools.
Oh,
It took the screwdriver and it's like, get out of here. Don't need you.
Troy Tulowitzki.
But on the other side of the spectrum, the worst tool is the Allen wrench.
The Allen
wrench is the worst tool ever.
Just useless?
It's for such a specific thing. It's like the screwdriver that's like a hexagon. Where do you see screws that are shaped like hexagons? It's so rare that you don't really need one for anything.
In IKEA, that's where you find them.
Hank Goldberg. The hammer.
Is Ivan Putski? Was he the Polish hammer?
I think so, yeah.
How many hammers can we go to? Wasn't there
Brian Braun, the Hebrew hammer.
That's one of the great nicknames of all time. Hebrewer. Ryan Braun, the Hebrewer. I'm maintaining it goes right up there with AK-47, Andrei Kirilenko, actual Russian weapon.
Greg the Hammer Valentine.
How many we got? Did you already say the hammer? Did you already say the hammer from the TV shows in the 80s and 90s? Wasn't there a detective?
Oh.
Is there a Hammer Williamson?
Fred Williamson.
Fred the Hammer. Can you give me his IMDb, Roy? I think we could have some fun here with the IMDb of Fred the Hammer Williamson. He was in some monsters. How many hammers? Hold on a second. I need now I need top 5 hammers in the history of sports.
MC Hammer.
He was in sports.
Hank Aaron needs to be number 1. Yes? Hammer and Hank.
Lenny Dykstra. Nails.
I mean, that more connotes the hammer. Look at how proud Stugotz is of himself.
I love this game.
Look at Stugotz.
No, I'm just in a good mood because it's a fun game. Tools.
Tulowitzki was good work by you.
Tulo.
Mike, something else Stugotz suggested during the break. He thinks we should get an intern.
We can't. Yeah, we all agree.
Hold on. You didn't let me finish. He insists, and I'm with him, that the intern be incredibly old.
Like an old school broadcaster guy who needs a gig, man.
Yes, like an old broadcaster who
Like a
needs an
60 plus.
internship.
And Goldberg.
I'm not. No, I don't think he needs an internship. That's insulting. I'm not. Stugotz ruined it by making it an actual person who has a name. No, I'm not talking about Hank Goldberg. I'm talking about somebody like my boy Blue.
Fred Williamson was in From Dusk Till Dawn. You remember that?
Yes.
He turned into a vampire.
Yes. He turned into a vampire that then fought a poop monster, if I'm not mistaken. That's cinema.
Brian Saw. ESPN radio. Oh, no, man. Set me up.
Dan Le Batard.
Marriage at some point, I think for a lot of people, they get down to, and this is really a sad part about marriage, where you're just having sex one day a week. And that one day a week is Sunday. And so I love Sundays, but I hate everything I have to do leading up till Sunday, which is essentially agree with everything my wife says and does everything she asks me to do. And I'm only doing that for the Sundays. Because if I don't do it, there ain't no Sundays. And I can't live without my Sundays.
Stugotz.
I wonder if Abby hates Sundays.
Oh, she despises them.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
Basketball really has it figured out how it makes dramatic even the predictable. Because we all knew before this season started that this is what we were going to get out west. The moment the Rockets traded for Chris Paul, we all thought that this, and then we saw them play together. It didn't take but 10 games to figure out, oh, okay, it's going to be Golden State and Houston. And then, even though most of us think that that's for the championship, the idea that basketball then gets after that, and maybe LeBron. And maybe, people tuning in just to see him win or lose, doesn't matter. They'd be tuning in a way they wouldn't if Boston gets there. If Boston gets there or Philadelphia gets there, or if anybody other than LeBron gets there.
Not as much drama in getting to the predictable place this year as previous years. I guess the Cavs had the scare in the first round going 7.
No, but the Cavs in general have had the drama for the entire season, right? You can't blow up your team at the midway point, and the Cavs carried us through the regular season in terms of enough drama for everybody.
Chanho Park.
But it's usually more fun when you think the Cavs have a chance. Do you think we'll be able to talk ourselves into that chance if they get to the NBA Finals again?
No, but it'll still be LeBron. It'll still be interesting. It'll still have storylines. It's what you want ahead of Philadelphia. It's what you want ahead of Boston. I mean, right? The nation at large right now, LeBron has gotten to the point where the nation at large is you're in this weird space where you're tuning in every round to watch him possibly lose, but you don't want him to because you want him to keep playing because he keeps your interest in basketball.
Yeah, it's interesting what's happening because as a Miami Heat fan, I generally root against LeBron. But the only times I really root for LeBron are when I have faith in other teams to push them and they fall on their face and they embarrass themselves, whether it be Steph Curry a couple finals ago, not playing well, or whatever the hell DeRozan and Lowry did this round. At a certain point, I just start rooting for the greatness because that's what great players do.
Larry the Axe Henning.
Are the Philadelphia 76ers favored against the Celtics on the road? Down 3-1. If I had to guess, now I don't know anything about point spreads. Mike, you will help me out here. But if I had to guess, this is a rare instance when a 3 going on the road to play a 2 would be down 3-1, and I would make them a betting favorite. I don't know if they are or not, but I would make the Philadelphia 76ers a betting favorite down 3-1 in Game 5. And I don't know if I'm doing that because, like everyone else, I'm doubting that the Celtics can do it without their 2 stars. And I can mix and match all you want with Brad Stevens. I still don't believe that that's going to mix and match its way past the talent because it rarely does in basketball. I just can't believe I'm saying that with one of the teams down 3-1 and trying to come back from 3-0.
When you first said it, I was like, no, the Celtics have to be maybe like a 2.5 point favorite. But it actually opened at Pick'em, and now it's grown to Celtics minus 1.5. But you're not that off.
Rocky Plyer.
Don't you think that's weird? Don't you think?
I find it very weird.
Given how Philadelphia's played in that series, given that Boston, we know them to be very the embodiment of team, really. Boston, now that Utah's gone and now that all of these pretenders are out of the way, Boston is the best representative of overachieving team. The Warriors can't be that. The style of basketball that is all about fingers on a fist, no one man is all that important. Boston embodies all of that. That never gets to win.
Yeah, it's weird that they get to be the embodiment of team ball when you actually look at the style of play from, say, the Golden State Warriors, and that's actually more team ball than anything.
Houston nut.
How about this one, Mike? The idea that you could beat the Golden State Warriors 4 out of 7 times in a series when they haven't lost 4 playoff games since Durant got there. Total.
It would seem impossible, and what sort of happened which is weird because I think both teams went 5-5 to get to the Western Conference Finals, right? But what's happened during the playoffs is anybody that was really talking themselves into Houston having a chance has talked themselves out of it. It's weird. Charles Barkley yesterday on Inside the NBA is saying that he would be shocked if it goes past 5. I'm not really sure what's happened here. They both went 5-5.
Ryan Mallett.
What happened is that Steph Curry came back, and they are a totally different team when Steph Curry is healthy and right. The only prayer that anyone in this league has the rest of the way is that Steph Curry's ankle goes again. It's the only chance anybody has. I understand that Houston is pressing the math on, well, we'll out-3 you 4 out of 7 games. We will out-3 you. We will play the math better than you do, and we have lost like 1 game when Capella and Chris Paul and Harden all start. But still, you've got to beat them 4 times out of 7 when Kevin Durant has not lost 4 playoff games since he got to Golden State.
Brandon Phillips had.
You know what's weird as a sports fan when your team is down big and they start playing desperate and they claw their way back into the game and you ask yourself as a sportsman, why can't they just play the entire game with this desperation? The answer is it's nearly impossible. The Warriors have that, and it's not impossible for them. If things get tough, they just start their best lineup. Which is crazy that they don't just do that automatically. But, things are hard. We'll just play the Hamptons 5. We'll just do that, and we'll win easily. It's amazing that they don't just do this every time. Right. They like to play with emotions.
Johnny Wrench.
From that perspective, they've underachieved. The Golden State Warriors have underachieved because didn't they put a lineup out there the other day for the first time ever that all of it, was it those 5 guys? Was it the Hampton 5? The first 5 ever to play together, that they hadn't all been out there at the same time. Wasn't it something like that happened the other day?
Where it was like the first time that they started them this entire season starting. They've been on the court together at times, but it's amazing.
What they do. The Warriors are playing an all-star. It's an all-star team. What the Rockets are trying to do is the Rockets are playing against an all-star team with 2 all-stars and Trevor Ariza.
Crowbar Garcia-Parra.
Aquí lo que importa es el catch.
And, of course, Drill Belichick.
Dan Le Batard.
What did he say? What did Eli Manning do now?
Well, it
doesn't matter.
If you just look at the story as it is right now, there's no doubt. If you just look at that information that Eli Manning did something nefarious. He told someone that it was game-worn stuff that he was signing, and it wasn't.
Stugotz.
Guillermo, put it on the poll. 2 questions on the poll here at Le Batard Show. Are you stunned that Stugotz just used the word nefarious? And are you stunned that Stugotz just used the word nefarious correctly?
Yes, yes.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
This James Paxton of the Seattle Mariners, you're not going to get a lot of back-to-back pitching performances like that one where he strikes out 16 and people are saying, you should have left him in to see if he could strike out 20. And then he comes out, and yesterday, 99 pitches, no-hitter. Last inning, he's throwing 100 miles an hour. That is, I'm trying to think when another pitcher announced himself that way. It might have been like Kerry Wood. It might be that long since a pitcher announced himself to America, hey, you better pay attention to me right now, with those 2 kinds of back-to-back games where you go 16 strikeouts and then you go no-hitter.
Has it been that long, though?
I mean, I can't think of another who announced himself. Like, it's not the national pastime anymore. It's something that we talk about in passing as general sports fans. Baseball has largely become a regional sport until the very end
Sure.
Of the season. And we still are weirdly in the cable age, because once upon a time, Fernando Valenzuela had to be this mania that swept over the land slowly as people got to their televisions to see something. That doesn't exist anymore, but baseball has gotten smaller enough that this is how it can exist now. Hey, who's that? What did he do?
Yeah. And I want to check that out. Whatever it is he's doing, I want to check it out. James Paxton, one of those guys that was always supposed to be this or something close to this. He didn't get to it till last year. And he wasn't this, but he was 12-5 with an ERA under 3. But you're right, the last 2 starts, it's like, take notice.
It is always cool when an athlete of any kind in any sport nominates himself through performance for stardom.
Yeah.
Not where it's like, whoop, you better pay attention. 16 strikeouts, okay, we were kind of talking about you. Now, no hitter on top of that. Second time out, now people are going to be paying attention to your third start.
That was a dude that got touched by an eagle opening day week, right? Opening week. A bald eagle landed on his shoulder during a pregame ceremony, and he kept his cool. Yeah. I knew he would be great right then and there.
How could you not? How could we all not know that? Now, I understand that the eagle is largely a buzzard, that Ron McGill has told us that the eagle has a great PR agent, but it's a dumbass bird. And while you might find this offensive as a proud American, I'm just giving you facts about the animal kingdom. The eagle's kind of an oaf and a bit of a buzzard, but
it's overrated is what
it
you're
is.
saying.
The eagle is overrated. Put it on the poll, Guillermo. Is the eagle overrated? For sure. The eagle, in the terms of the animal kingdom, there are very few overrated more than the eagle. The owl is one of them.
Well, he's Canadian, so I don't know if that meant much of anything to him.
Okay, but it seems Thor-like. It seems,
does.
It's like who's had a cooler moment than that? Something flying out of the sky and landing regally on their shoulder.
The only thing more impressive is that time that Matt Barnes tried to get Kobe Bryant to blink, and he didn't.
Yeah.
All right, so Guillermo, put it on the poll. What's more impressive? An eagle flying out of the sky and landing on a pitcher's shoulders, or Kobe Bryant not flinching when Matt Barnes pretended to inbound the ball right off his face? I do maintain, I'm with Mike on this one. I know what Kobe Bryant's resume is. That's at the top of it.
Oh, totally. Yes. I've seen the video. I've watched it several times. It's super impressive, man.
James Paxton appears to be the rare athlete that gets in worse shape as the season progresses.
Wow.
Why were you yelling about Lonnie Chisenhall during the break, Stugotz?
Because Lonnie Chisenhall, like a Chisenhall is not a tool, but it sounds like a tool. Like you're in the house and something is broken and you say to yourself, man, this is a job for the Chisenhall. And so I just started a conversation with, guys in sports where their names aren't actual tools, but it sounds like it could be a tool.
I like that game. 786-456-4837 is the telephone number. You callers tend to be failures, nonstop failures. So we're asking you for athlete names that sound like you would say, hey, go to the garage and get me the Lonnie Chisenhall. I got some work to do in the attic.
Yeah, that's something that my brother-in-law says when he's doing home improvement stuff around my house because I can't do it.
Right, we don't know anything about home improvement.
But I think I've heard him say one time, I'll be right back, got to go to the truck and get the Chisenhall.
Yes. All right, so we're all in with Chisenhall. The job of the caller now. Callers, as I mentioned, that have been largely failures for the entire time we've done a radio show. 786-456-4837. I'm sorry to be so harsh with you, but be better. Okay? Because as a call-in audience, you are not funny.
I mean, we've been trying tough love with them for about 3 years, and we haven't seen the results.
I know. So you think
maybe we need to build them back up?
Yeah, everybody's just scared to call right now. 786-456-4837. Well, then, we can filibuster with the top 19 tools. Guillermo says the power rankings on the top 19 tools. We begin with number 19, Guillermo.
Number 19, Stud Finder. Very important tool when you're trying to hammer something into the wall.
Number 18.
Socket wrench.
Number 17.
Jaw horse.
What is that?
It's like a very versatile workbench where you can, add attachments. It's really cool. It's a really cool thing.
Does that count as a tool?
Oh, it's a tool. Oh, it's a tool.
It sounds like
workbench is a tool.
Jaw horse. Number 16.
Laser level.
Number 15.
Needle nose pliers.
Number 14.
Tape measure.
Number Number 13.
Stugotz.
Too low.
Too low. Too low. He's a much more valuable tool than that. He's the most valuable of all the tools. Number 12.
Lawnmower.
Number 11.
Wheelbarrow.
All right, now it gets serious.
You know, a lot of people call it wheelbarrow. It's not that. It's wheelbarrow.
We're on the poll. Wheelbarrow or wheelbarrel? You're right. A lot of people get that one wrong. Are you ready for top 10? Everyone, stand back. Here come Guillermo's top 10 tools of all time. Number 10.
The wrench.
Number 9.
Axe.
8.
Rake/broom.
Wait a minute.
It's an indoor-outdoor. It's the same tool.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Those are different tools.
You can't combine their powers.
You can't have co-champions.
This list is final.
Number 7.
Taladro.
Number 6.
Circular saw.
Number 5.
A digging shovel. Flat shovels, no good. Useless. Digging shovel can do the job of both of those shovels.
4.
Ladder.
3.
Hammer.
Wait a minute. I offered hammer as a consensus number 1. Mike said every damn tool can be used as a hammer, and I think he said a book could be used as a hammer.
Science book.
Now it's a 3.
Well, it has the thing at the back that you can take the nails out with it. One of those hammers.
What's missing, Stugotz? What are some of your guesses here? Because we got 2 and 1 left.
It's got to be screwdriver.
No, didn't he say that? I feel like he said that. Number 2.
A Phillips screwdriver.
Oh, wow.
The best of the screwdrivers.
Flathead.
No, flatheads are useless. Phillips is the king of screwdrivers.
Yeah.
Or queen.
All right. Are you guys ready?
I don't know.
Because this is very exciting. We're about to get to the number 1 tool, according to Guillermo. But first, Armando, you're on ESPN Radio. Go ahead, Armando.
A Jake Stoneburner.
Is that a tool? A Jake Stoneburner. I got some grilling to do.
Go
Can
get
you
me
get
the
me?
Jake,
Can
yeah.
you get me the Stoneburner?
I'm good with that.
I don't think the callers understand that they're just supposed to say the name that sounds like a tool. We don't need the first name of the person.
The first name's fine. And let's remember, we're trying to build them up.
Yeah.
Good job so far, callers.
I hate them.
Yep.
Marcus, that's our call screeners. Bitterness and resentment. Marcus, you're on ESPN Radio.
Burkhead, most useless tool.
Oh, what about the Burkhead?
Yeah.
Does someone need to go to the garage and get the Burkhead?
Man, callers are doing a great job.
Nime, you're on ESPN Radio. Go ahead.
Budenholzer.
Oh,
yes.
Oh,
Yes.
somebody.
Go get me the Budenholzer.
Oh, I've got something that's wrong with the jacuzzi. Go get me the Budenholzer.
Best callers in the nation, right here.
Jake, you're on ESPN Radio.
The Chuck Knobloch.
Yeah.
Need the knob law. Yeah.
What does it do?
That's not for us to decide.
Yeah,
Okay,
just-
all right. I got a couple of flat tires. Can you put the car up on the knob blocks?
Oh, that's a great
There
suggestion.
you go. Excellent. Well done, man.
Put it on the knob
done.
block.
Yeah, put it on the knob blocks.
Eric, you're on ESPN Radio, Eric.
Emmanuel Sanders.
I don't know, man.
Well, maybe sometimes he needs to read in a manual.
I thought what happened there is that somebody needed some wood buff, didn't know how to do it, so had to go to the Emmanuel.
See, you're better.
Okay.
You're better at this.
I like read the Emmanuel.
I like this new policy.
The sander. It's an I don't know how to work
Maybe
the sanders.
perhaps it's a manual for the sander.
Yeah, I'm not good with my hands. I don't know how to do anything revolving around sanders. Hey, Stugotz, can you go get me the Emmanuel? No, Dan, I can't read.
This show ain't free. Time for some ads.
I feel like I'm forgetting something.
Catch more of the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz, 10 to 1 Eastern on ESPN Radio and ESPN News.
I'm a one-trick pony, literally. I show up at kids' parties and act cute. That's pretty much it. So excuse me for being bitter. When Geico says not only could we save you money on car insurance, but we do more. Like give you 24/7 access online, over the phone, or even via our award-winning mobile app. Well, ooh la la. Aren't they multi-talented? Hey, I said organic carrots.
Geico. Expect great savings and a whole lot more.
Dan Le Batard.
Where's our trip to Mars, Musk?
Oh, you hear what he said about Mars? The first few people who go to Mars on his mission, SpaceX, whatever it is, they're probably going to die.
Stugotz.
So I want to have this writer on because I think I want to expose Elon Musk because I'm not credible enough to do it, but this guy seems to be my guy.
He seems to have facts. You want him to give you the facts that you can then be armed with to say, look, when we go to Mars, Elon Musk is going to kill us first.
Yeah.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
Woj is going to join us in a second. What I'd like to sprinkle around Woj is some of these callers. Maybe Guillermo's power tool list can be completed there. I failed earlier, if you're just joining us, because someone nominated Emmanuel Sanders as an athlete's name that sounded like a tool, and I thought it was a manual for a sander, and what I should have gone there, it was a manual sander, as opposed to the one that's machine operated. A manual, a sander that is manual.
Can't believe you screwed that up.
I know, I screwed that up. Yeah. So,
what a horrible, just sandpaper?
That's right. Yes, it's a manual sander. Yes. So Woj is joining us now, and we were just talking. Thanks as always for making time for us.
Of course.
The way basketball has changed, the way the math has changed, what kind of reasonable chance does Houston have as a team that had the best offensive rating in the history of the sport this year?
I think, Dan, the fact that they're so much better defensively, I think gives them more than a puncher's chance in a series with Golden State. And listen, I still think Golden State at their best is better than everybody else at theirs. And Golden State, in the past years here, when they weren't at their best, like they were still the best team. I think they have to play their best to beat Houston. I think Houston's the only team that can, if Golden State's just a little bit off, can beat them. But I still think the Warriors pulling on all cylinders is they're beyond still everybody else in the league.
What has happened in the first two rounds of the playoffs where Woj says to himself, okay, that is going to result in off-season change that's pretty substantive? Everything that's happened in the first two rounds, where does Woj go and say, okay, the blueprint's going to change a lot there for next year?
I don't know if it's going to change a lot anywhere. I think people want to point at Toronto and say that they have to or they should make or they will make a significant change of direction. I do not think they will. I think their roster has a really good balance of the veteran star players and a really good young core that's coming up. And those guys are all on shorter contracts, and they're all lined up in the same year. DeRozan, Kyle Lowry, Lowry and Ibaka signed 3-year deals last summer that matched them up with DeRozan's deal. So, listen, they're going to take a look at Dwayne Casey here, and they're doing that now. And I think you're sort of going to take one or two routes there. If you stay with Case, then maybe you look at the roster. But if you look at the coach and say, okay, do we want to keep a roster together that won 59 games, had the 1 seed in the East, best regular season in our franchise history, and we can't beat this one team or this one player really? Do we make a change at coach that allows us to run it back with a different coach, different system, and go at it? But the thing that all these teams are going through is they're looking at the marketplace and going, is there somebody better out there? Is there really somebody better that we can wholeheartedly sell better than the guy we have? And I think a lot of teams are looking at the marketplace. There are a lot of coaching openings, and they're saying, like, better may not be out there, and change for the sake of change, could have greater consequences than staying status quo.
Sean, you're on ESPN Radio.
This is Zlatan.
Yes, the Zlatan is an answer to all questions.
Woj, is Brett Brown safe? Is his job safe?
Absolutely. I mean, he's going to get Brett Brown is in line to get a contract extension. Like, you don't win 30 more regular season games, win a round of the playoffs, and then all of a sudden somebody doesn't like your out-of-bounds play in one game, and you're going to make a change because of that. It's insane. And he will be the coach there going forward. I wouldn't be surprised, and I'm not breaking news here, but I wouldn't be surprised if he got an extension, given where his contract status is. Like, you don't lose coaches like Brett Brown. And I think, again, it gets back to decisions aren't made off of one moment or a couple moments in one series, especially with a young team. And the other thing, too, is like Brad Stevens might be a better coach than Brett Brown. He very well might be. So is everybody in the league going to fire their coach? Everybody who doesn't have a coach as good as Brad Stevens, they're all going to fire their coach? And then who are they hiring? And so I think some context gets lost in all of this sometimes. Like, he's a keeper. He's built your program. And coaches, the way you get better coaching in playoff situations as a head coach is to coach through them. It's like a player. You're going to get better if you're smart and you work hard at it, and you're not afraid to analyze and be critical of yourself, which Brett Brown isn't. He's going to look back and hopefully grow from it, like lots of coaches have done in their careers, just like players do, executives do. So, yeah, the idea of Brett Brown not being in Philly to me is that's insane.
Rob, you're on ESPN Radio. Go ahead, Rob.
When I'm in a Rubicon, I always go to my Verlander.
Oh, yeah, it's like a Swiss Army knife. It is. It's like a Swiss Army knife.
Woj, how much interest do you think Stan Van Gundy, who was, I guess they mutually parted ways in Detroit, Stan has said, according to, I believe, the New York Post today, that he still indeed wants to coach. How much interest will teams have in Stan Van Gundy?
I absolutely think Stan would be a head coach in the league again if that's what he wants to do. I think the days of the coach having the front office power are almost all gone in the league, and Tom Thibodeau has it in Minnesota. And I don't know if we will see it anywhere else. I think that Stan, Doc Rivers doesn't have that with the Clippers anymore. Stan obviously lost that in Detroit. But Stan, just as your coach, is still considered, I think, one of the better coaches in the league. And I imagine that if he wants to coach again, he has said he does. Now, it may not be in this cycle right now, right. But I think with a veteran team who's trying to win in the near term, I think Stan's shown himself to be a good playoff coach and a good program manager.
Woj, help me out with something. What else do you have in your arsenal that makes you react the way you did to the idea of the Sixers firing their coach? Like, what have you heard out there in terms of criticism or gasbagging or something that someone has said on our network where you're like, that's ridiculous? What you're being ridiculous, like where we could get you really fired up.
No, I wasn't reacting to anything but the question you guys asked.
I know, but what else can I ask you like that is what I'm asking.
Yeah, but I got the question because people on this network want him fired.
What else can I ask you that you would be like, I can't believe people are saying this stupid thing?
That wasn't my intent. But certainly, I just think that, like, right now this is a league where I get people, like, it is hard right now to close the gap on Golden State, Houston, and I think everyone who is sort of in that middle area, I think there's always a call for dramatic change. Like if a team wins 45, 48, 49 games, and you're saying blow it up, tear it up. And that's the big thing now is blow it up. And it's like, you look in this league, when you do blow it up, the toll it takes on everybody and how long it takes and how lucky you got to get to get an Embiid, to get a Ben Simmons, to get a Durant or a Russell Westbrook like Oklahoma City, Seattle did. That, like, I think they're seen in the league as there's some great dishonor to be winning 47, 48 games, getting to the second round of the playoffs. Like, I think people forget it's a business. And the idea of gutting your roster and having an unwatchable product for 2-3 years, most organizations and cities and markets, like they can't all come back from that fan wise, and there's no guarantee. In fact, there's no guarantee at all it's going to work. And I think teams who are sort of in that middle, who keep looking to make Portland, Toronto, they can keep tweaking their roster. They have good cores and getting better and being creative and finding ways to, kind of wait out Houston and Golden State a little bit in the West.
Woj, I said on this network that Kawhi has been sitting the entire season because LeBron told him to do so. Yell at me.
LeBron told him to sit?
Yeah, LeBron told him to sit. Yell at me.
Yeah, I mean, just all the Kawhi stuff. If you can help us understand the Kawhi stuff.
Or yell at me.
Well, Ramona Shelburne, Mike Wright did a great piece on it last week on the site, and I just think that there's certainly a breakdown in trust between Kawhi Leonard and the group, his group and the Spurs, and there's been a breakdown in trust and really communication as the year went on, and I think a differing of opinions, but either they're going to get on the same page here and figure out a way to go forward together and figure out a way to get on the same page medically that the Spurs would be a greater part of the conversation of how to go forward with that quad and where they want to go. And if that doesn't happen, I think it's difficult for them to, I think the Spurs then have to look at the idea of moving him because he'll be going into his free agency next in 2019. But I don't rule out those two getting back on the same page. I don't rule it out. And but there's time between now and July or the draft when hypothetically a deal would need to happen. So, but it's still going to play out. But I think the whole league is watching this. Everybody would want to be involved in a conversation to try to acquire Kawhi Leonard, but it's not there yet.
Billy, what's your number one tool?
Machete.
Should the Sixers be favored tonight, Woj?
I don't know if they're favored tonight, but they're good enough to they're good enough to keep winning. Listen, no one's come. History tells you nobody's coming back from 3-0.
Say it's going to happen.
But
Woj, I'm tired of your perspective, your nuance, and your journalism. Say right here. You say something on the show, you come on and you say, I'm not breaking news here, I'm just giving you my opinion. I want you to give us something, Woj, before you get out of here.
Because I'm telling you, if you don't say it right now, if you don't claim it right now, I'm going to say
enough perspective. Okay? All right, Woj, don't make Stugotz do it. Enough perspective. Will the Sixers rally from 3-0, Woj?
No, they're not going to rally from 3-0. But I do think they are. This isn't usually when it's 3-0. It's a mismatch. Usually somebody is much better than the other team. That's not the case here. And Philly if Bellinelli and Redick and those guys who have been making shots that whole last stretch of the season in the playoffs, they start making shots again to support the two stars, then.
Then it happens, Woj. Then what do you mean then it happens? You're hedging, Woj. You're hedging.
I am hedging.
No, don't hedge.
They're not going to win the series.
Don't hedge.
But they're not going to win the series, Dan.
No, get the hedger out of here.
I would love to see a game 6 in Philly. That place.
Get this quack out of here.
I mean, Woj, hedgers is not on our list of tools.
Get this quack out of here.
Let's go. My private jet isn't going to fuel itself.
I'm happy to run with that one. That seems like a good spot for me.
This is a good spot for you.
Sixers coming back.
Sixers are coming back from 3-0.
Yep.
That coward Wojnarowski won't get out there with a risky pick if Bellinelli hits shots.
And let me tell you something. If the Sixers don't come back from this deficit, you fire Brett Brown.
Dan Batard.
Stugotz is a liar.
What happened?
Stugotz.
Well, we know this about you. It's not what happened. It's a statement of fact. You're someone who lies so much that you can be correctly identified as a liar. Yes, I don't. Did you even dispute that?
No, I don't.
This is the Dan Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
Here's some borrowed straight talk, okay? This is just me reading. These are not my thoughts. These are the thoughts of Tom Junot. He is one of the best writers in the history of magazine writing, and he wrote something for ESPN, the magazine, about Mike Tomlin. And when he wrote about Mike Tomlin, he also chose to write about race. Now, around here, you know that many people object anytime we wade into racial waters. We've done it less and less over the years as it's become a more and more popular thing. everywhere else to do, and we've just sort of moved away from it because of how tired people are of all kinds of race conversations.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, it's white people who are tired of it, rest assured. And so Tom Junot writes this, and this is 2 paragraphs that can distill it pretty easily for you on the race conversations in America. It's about Mike Tomlin, ESPN, the magazine, Tom Junot. Talk to white players who play for a black coach, and they will tell you that the color of their coach's skin does not matter. Of course it doesn't matter. Why should it matter? It doesn't matter one bit. Talk to African-American players who play for a black coach, and they will tell you that the color of their coach's skin matters deeply, powerfully, necessarily, and unavoidably. Of course it matters. It has to matter. It better matter. You're damn right it matters, because it matters, just for starters, to them. And then this is the insoluble paradox at the heart of the racial conversation in the United States circa 2018. That white America speaks of race as a consideration to be transcended, and black America speaks of race as a force to be acknowledged. That white America believes that the purpose of talking about race is to one day end the conversation, and black America believes that the purpose of talking about race is to one day get the real conversation started. And there it is for you. Like, there it is. The differences between the white and black perspective. ESPN did not have to put a 30 for 30 together to show you O.J. Simpson, the prism through which sports learned how differently black people and white people can view the very same thing.
Wow. He's a writer.
Yeah, he is.
You should just read that at the end of every race segment we do.
Yeah.
There's no way people don't understand that, right?
If you want to argue, if you want to make it about politics, if you don't want to just make it about different perspectives from different people because we've had different experiences growing up in different places, and our weddings are different, and our funerals are different, and our parties are different. And so, of course, our perspectives are in every way different.
Really interesting, man. Important conversation. What do you think he meant by that?
Dan Le Batard.
Dan, you're on Dueling Dragons. You're having the time of your life. All of a sudden, the roller coaster goes off the rails, and you die.
Yeah.
Was that fun?
I don't like roller coasters because of the risk of dying in a roller coaster. I don't want to go on any roller coasters because that's one of the possibilities.
Stugotz.
You're eating a pastelito. You love pastelitos. This is a delicious pastelito from Casavana. So good. And then it gets lodged in your esophagus and you choke and you die.
Mm-hmm. Was it fun?
Was it fun?
Yeah.
It was fun while I was eating it. Then it stopped being fun.
Right.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
If you are new to this program, sometimes we have to explain things so that you aren't excluded or you don't feel like there's so many inside jokes that you are missing everything and that we are pushing you on the outside. So our sports radio show is largely a spoof of sports radio shows with our most gasbaggy cartoon character, the epicenter of everything we do, the face and voice of the sports fan, being the magnificent, unshaven Stugotz.
Yeah.
And so
we don't shave, man.
He is the source of greatness around here. Our goal over time as a spoof of a sports radio show is to have Stugotz devour Dan Patrick, Mike Wilbon, Rich Eisen, Keith Oberman, all of the old school. And then at the very end, when it becomes ESPN, or what would it be? ES Stugotz PN.
Sounds good.
Yeah, ES Stugotz. The last flag that he will plant will be in my rear end as he gets to the top of the mountain and shouts down the entire mainstream media as a cartoon character. That's the show.
I don't know if you were doing a Freudian slip there, but you started spelling out ASSBN.
It'll be that too. If he wins, that's what it'll be. It'll be ASPN. It will be.
And I'm good with that.
Everyone is. Yeah. That will be like, that's what it should be. It's how we conquer from the inside the entire sports media industry with our burro, our resident ass, the founder and face and voice for ASPN.
Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. So in that vein though, Mike, because you know I hate prediction radio, prediction television. I marvel at the fact that after all these years, we can do all sorts of scientific advancements, but the pregame show is still the same crud it always is. A coach, a couple of analysts predicting games, and we think the Patriots are going to win. Thanks, guys.
Well, you're right. I got the Warriors at 5.
So beyond that, you saw that Adrian Wojnarowski, credible journalist, like as credible as we've got anywhere in sports. Seriously. Adrian Wojnarowski is the top of the journalism food chain. And we ask him, the Sixers, are they coming back from 3-0? And he says no, but then he starts with, and if Bellinelli hit shots, and these set of circumstances, So, I'm just saying that we push Stugotz out there now with the take that ESPN is going to run with, which is to preview the Sixers-Celtics game.
Yeah.
I think you need to get out there forcefully with the idea the Sixers are about to become the first team ever to come back from down 3-0. And the reason to do it is because the circumstances are perfect.
Oh, they're great.
It.
Yeah,
this
right.
is the lesser team that's down 3-1 has the 2 stars. So if we can just all get out of the way, what we would like on this slow Wednesday when the entire sports media industry needs content, let's allow the floor in the room for
I got this. I know what you want here, and I got it. Listen, the 76ers, who were down 3-0 in this series to the Celtics, okay? I know no team has never done it, but here's what else has never happened. You've never had a team that's missing their top 2 stars. They're missing Gordon Hayward. They're missing Kyrie Irving. How they're up 3-0 at this point is a mystery to everyone, and I'm telling you, Philadelphia is the better team.
Hold on,
the more talented.
if I may, let me stop you there. You started with no team has never done it. They're not going to use that. Like ESPN would not.
Oh, yeah, but that's the unimportant part. It's the end. It's
I know,
but
but what I'm saying is we want to get them a clip that they can use throughout their programs, all of them. And if you start with no team has never done it,
right,
that's not the way to start. We have to do better than that.
Also, you're talking about how it's like 3-0 now. You know that the Sixers already took a game, right?
I get that. I figured they had the power to edit up there, but that's okay, okay? So I'll start again.
I love that you say, I totally got it, and then you come out of the box like a rodeo bull just making mistakes all over the place.
Listen, 3-1. I don't care what anyone tells
let's
me.
Start again.
Take it from the top.
2, not 3-1, 3.
Well, and pronounce Celtics the right way, like a human would.
Not 3-1, 3, 2, 1.
Listen, I know the Celtics are down 3-1. I know this. I messed it up again. Let's do it. Take 3.
3, 2, 1.
Listen, I know the Sixers are down 3-1. I know the Celtics have 2 games at home. The Sixers only have 1 remaining game at home. But I'm telling you, the Sixers are a better team. And no team has ever pulled this off. And I'm telling you, this Sixer team is going to pull it off. Why? The process. They have trusted the process. And they have the 2 best players on the floor. Every time they step on a basketball court against this Boston Celtic team, they have the 2 best players on the floor in Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid. And so you think about it. All they really need to do is win a Game 5 on the road tonight. They come back for a Game 6 at home, and then you know what happens? You get to a 7th game, and you know who has all the pressure on them? The Boston Celtics. And you know who's never played with that type of pressure on them? These Boston Celtics. And I'm telling you, the Sixers are going to get into a Game 7. Then the Celtics are going to get very, very tight, and the talent is going to take over. And the Sixers have the 2 most talented guys in this series. The Sixers going to come back from 3-0 and be the first team to come back from a 3-0 deficit in the NBA playoffs, and the Sixers will advance on to the Eastern Conference Finals against the Cavaliers. How about that?
And scene. You want to try it again, or do you think that I felt that was a little wordy. It had a lot of fat. It didn't need the how about that at the end. You got a booger in your right nostril.
Well, so does Clooney.
We might want to clean some of this up if you want to try it again and tighten it up one more time. Yeah, there's something on your lip too, on your right lip.
It's hanging
right
down
side.
that far.
It's problematic. So if you want to clean up your face slightly to see if we can get your unshaven face to go across all the platforms. Mike, why are you reacting with horror to his face? There's like skin off of his lip that's unpleasant.
Well, I think it just ended up on his lip after he touched his nose. So
I'm pretty
sure what landed on his lip was
tasty.
A new field analyst for Monday Night Football.
It's still there?
No, I think you're as clean as that face is going to get.
Okay.
So, once again, we're trying to get this across all platforms.
Got it.
And we need it to be like just a soundbite. It needs to be within 25 to 30 seconds so that America can consume it very quickly.
Okay. You want to count me down?
3, 2, 1.
Oh, my God.
That's too bad.
Oh, sorry. I looked at it.
Well, what does that mean? So you reach through the magic crate of content. Everything always stops immediately when the magic crate of content music plays and the crate is open. There's a question after Stugotz rummages and most humiliating experience on a date.
Most humiliating experience.
I'm all in. I'm all in with pooping in a parking lot after drinking too much white wine.
That happened to you as well?
Aquí lo que importa es el catch.
1-800-Flowers, people. I can't think of a better way, really, to segue into 1-800-Flowers, Mother's Day, and the beauty of that than the visual image of Stugotz and I pooping in a parking lot because we've had too much white wine.
They're going to use that Sixers take, or what do you think?
I don't think it was good enough.
What do you mean?
I don't think it was good. It was too long, and you had snot on your face.
Oh.
Wait, you want to try it again?
Well, I mean, listen, if someone can guarantee me they're going to use it, then I would try it again, yes. If not, then I don't want to waste my time and
Well, they
energy.
can't guarantee you they're going to use it if you have a snot in your nose.
Well, is there still snot in my nose?
No, there's not, but the take that we have on video has snot in your nose.
Okay. I mean, I can do it now in 30 seconds, or we can do it next
With this
segment.
music behind it?
Oh, yeah, they're not going to
turn down the music. Hold on. Stugotz wants his viral take. Go ahead, 30 seconds.
I
Go.
just want to tell you, listen, the Sixers are the better team. I don't care what's happened thus far in the series. I am telling you, all the Sixers have to do tonight with the two best players on the court is go out and win a Game 5. And then what happens? The mental part of the game takes over, where suddenly the Celtics, who are up 3-0, say to themselves, oh, my God, we're a road loss away from playing a seventh game. We were up 3-0, and I'm telling you, it's going to happen tonight. Sixers win, then they win Game 6. Game 7, the Celtics start to feel that pressure, and the Sixers have the two best players on the court, Ben Simmons, Embiid. Embiid goes for 45 in Game 7 on the Celtics home court, and the Sixers move on to the Eastern Conference Finals. They're not going to use that one as well.
It wasn't good enough.
Man.
Stumbled at the finish line there.
You know what happened there, I got to be honest, is, well, I don't want to blame anyone because then I'm going to get fined.
Who could you possibly blame there?
I don't want to blame anyone.
Immunity. I'm curious. Is that how you're going to put this
immunity
on?
from the community. Yeah, you got immunity. No one will find you. Who were you going to blame for you messing up at the end of that lousy Sixers tape?
The booger. Got on my lip, man. It got in my way.
Catch more of the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz, 10 to 1 Eastern on ESPN Radio and ESPN News. Dan Le Batard.
LaMarcus Aldridge.
Awful.
Stugotz.
I mean,
no, he's an embarrassment, man. He's bad. He's not a good player. I don't know what happened to him because when he was in Portland, he was fantastic. He is not good, Dan. He cost them the game last night. Although they won the game. But had they lost, I'm telling you, it would have been on LaMarcus Aldridge. And the only reason it's not is because they won the game. And I'm still going to crush him even though they won.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Guest on the Dan Le Batard Show appear via the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. Here's your SportsCenter update. Rafael Palmeiro says he has agreed to play with his son for the independent Claiborne Railroaders at the age of 53. Orioles pitcher Dylan Bundy became the first pitcher in the modern era to give up 4 homers without recording an out. Tough night, man. And finally, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson scored a whopping $22 million base pay for the upcoming action comedy Red Notice, which finally landed at Universal after a serious bidding war. As part of the deal, Johnson will be paid $1 million just to promote the movie on his social media platforms. $1 million. I'd like to arrive at that place.
Would you?
I mean, yeah, it'd be nice.
Really? I'm stunned by that. You're the only person on the entire planet who would like to be paid $1 million for what he puts on his social media account.
Yep.
Keep working, Stugotz. Someday you'll get there.
I'm grinding, man.
You're in a phone store on a Friday evening, demanding your appearance fee from a clerk behind the desk. Someday you'll get there.
I'll do it for $10. I mean, but I'm just saying, I don't mean $1 million. I'd like to arrive at a point where people are paying me to tweet stuff out because I can do that all day. Mm-hmm. Would you? Never in a million years. But I wish I had access to your Twitter account because then I could charge a couple of $1,000. You got a lot of followers, man. Someone give me the passwords. If your big Mother's Day surprise consists of one well-crafted text message, you need to step it up with 1-800-Flowers. Right now, you can get 24 multicolored roses plus a free vase starting at $29.99. For details, go to 1-800-Flowers.com. Click the radio icon. Enter code Dan. Do it today. For all the latest headlines and information, tune in to the Sports Center on ESPN Radio all throughout the day.
What do you do with that Palmeiro story?
I mean, it's nice. Gets to play with his son later on in his career. You know, even if he doesn't play that well, he's hanging around his son every day. They're hitting a diamond together. They're going to work together, like you and your dad. It's nice.
You're acting like he's not going to hit 285.
Well, he's going to lead the league in hits. Like, he's going to lead the league. Put it on the poll, Guillermo. Is Rafael Palmeiro going to lead the Railroaders in hits? Were they the Railroaders?
Yeah, the Claiborne Railroaders.
I got to tell you, I've been distracted for the last 10 minutes because Stugotz and Guillermo are they've got their eyes on Ryan Hollins, and I don't know what's happening exactly. I'm confused, but they've been hatching and plotting and scheming, and I don't understand what's happening here.
We think here that we have an opportunity. There are no opinion shows on right now. There's a re-air of First Take. We're on. There's no other radio shows on. Sports Center's on. No one's giving opinions there. So we feel like this 76ers thing, it's all yours. Like, you have it. You have the opinion. But the one guy...
I can have the opinion of the Sixers are going to be the first team ever to rally from 3-0. The opinion is still available.
The one guy we're concerned about, and Guillermo can kind of take it from here, is Ryan Hollins.
That's why you guys kept saying the Ryan Hollins watch.
Well, that's the thing, is that you have, theoretically, an hour here. However, you're not ready to do it yet. But we know if Hollins appears on the screen, he's going to give that take. So we are on level 4 Hollins watch right now. And, Dan, I don't know if you're going to be comfortable or not. If Hollins appears on the screen, you're going to have to kind of blurt it out.
I'm not comfortable doing it yet, saying it out loud yet for everybody, but I heard you guys planning to have Ryan Hollins on hold as a guest on our show for 4 segments just to distract him so that he can't go on SportsCenter and give the opinion.
What I think we'd like to do is have Allison call Ryan Hollins, act like she's interested in what it is Ryan Hollins has to say, and then say the guys want to talk to you about this, put him on hold, but we never actually get to Ryan Hollins. Therefore, he's on hold for our show. We know we're never taking him, but we also know he's not going on another show this hour.
Yeah, we need to essentially block Ryan Hollins from going somewhere else. Now,
why is he the only one we've identified as a problem?
He's the one we're most concerned with at this time.
Yes,
now, if we do go through with the Ryan Hollins plan, where we get him on hold, we just need kind of hijinks and tomfoolery to ensue a little bit each segment, and then we're like, oh, Ryan, we'll get you next segment. And then we kind of just slowly keep pushing it.
So we're going to filibuster like they do on C-SPAN sometimes.
All while Ryan Hollins is pushing away producers that are trying to get him on camera because
to get him to say,
I'm sorry, I'm
now,
on hold.
Do we assume that he's going to do that just because he used to play for the Sixers?
No, this is the type of thing Ryan Hollins would do. If everyone's saying X, he's going to go Y.
Classic
Hollins. It's classic Hollins, and what we're telling you is, and you don't seem ready or prepared to make this, to step out of
How
this
long
limb.
has Ryan Hollins worked for the network? I feel like he's just auditioning for a job right now, and this is the thing that would carry him. You predict correctly that the Sixers, is Ryan Hollins now at our network officially? Has he been here for many years, or is he one of those athletes who's coming through the car wash where you're auditioning for post-career work on television?
He actually never played for the Sixers. That's one of the 3 teams he never played for. He was on the Celtics.
Okay, so why are we thinking he was going to pick the Sixers in that series? Why are we scared of Ryan Hollins? Ryan
Hollins says stuff. That's why. He says stuff.
Ryan is going to Hollins.
He's always a second away from saying that thing. And we need that thing this time to not be your thing.
Sometimes it could be the Transformers are racist. Sometimes it could be the Sixers are coming back from 3-0.
You never know.
Wacky.
So if we get him on the line, can we just ask him, hey, do you think the Sixers are going to win?
Well, no.
No, because
you're missing the point of Hollins watch. Oh my God.
What do you mean? Why would we bring him on? We're trying to keep him off.
Why would we give him the platform? We're trying to keep away from him.
Well, because I think if you just ask him off air, hey, are you interested? He might say, no, I think the Celtics are going to win. And
we don't really care. We just don't want to give him the opportunity. Like, that's it. You might be right, but you also might be wrong.
By the way, we're jumping through all these hoops for you, Dan. As you work up the courage to actually deliver this prediction.
Yes.
I have an idea.
What is it?
This is what we do.
What?
To old Ryan Hollins. We get him on.
Yeah.
Keep on hold a little bit.
Right.
We bring, let's whisper so he doesn't hear. Then we ask him in the break the question when he's not on the air.
That's what I meant.
So we get him to say it, and he thinks that he said it somewhere, but no one heard it but us.
Oh, I see. We trick him and pretend.
And then he won't say it
yes,
anywhere
yes.
else because he said it, but he didn't really say it because no one heard it.
We have a pact, though, right? Like we're sworn to secrecy here.
Don't tell anyone.
No, there is no pact. We're making this up as we go along.
Okay.
What pact is there?
I'm all
sorry.
in. Blood oath. Everybody cut your hand.
No pact.
Why is there a pact?
Blood oath. Cut yourself.
Okay.
Anybody got a
Well,
knife?
what's the pact we're making?
That when he says it, he didn't really say it. We know that, but no one else will.
Well, we've got to trick him.
We need to pretend to do a show in the commercial break where we bring on Ryan Hollins.
Right.
And we ask him the question. Yes. He says that thing, but no one gets it. Why are we whispering?
What's the pact that we made? I still don't understand the pact.
The pact that we made is Hollins might say it before you say it, but none of us.
Subtle whisper.
That sounds like just a review of what's happened so far.
It doesn't even sound like
More
you're
than a
talking
pact.
quiet.
I don't understand.
You're going to say it. Hollins is going to say it, but everyone's going to start fighting over it.
You've stopped pacting, and now you're just the sports whisperer.
I also don't think you get the plan.
You don't. We don't think that you understand what
Hollins
anyone.
never said it.
You don't understand anything that's happening right now.
Every crew needs an idiot, I guess.
Thank you.
Aquí lo que importa es el catch.
So we're all clear.
What kind of plan is this? The guy just butts into the room, and he's like, "Yeah, I get 80%, right?"
You're going to have to talk to Hollins during the break. You understand that, right?
Midweek growth showed up and bit you on the face.
Are we all cutting ourselves because I'm bleeding?
Dan Le Batard.
Is this a middle school show or a big boy show?
Stugotz.
It's kind of a middle school show.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
One of the first pieces, major journalism pieces that I ever did was on Rafael Palmeiro. And he was a Miami kid, is a Miami guy, and now I'm sure the butt of many jokes after being one of the guys stained by the steroid scandal that didn't actually recover from it. There was a time that there were reports that Rafael Palmeiro had become such a shamed fugitive from fame that he looked like Tom Hanks in Castaway, deserted island, just everything that he worked for in his life in terms of identity, being a guy who gets to 3,000 hits and is an excellent baseball player. Stripped, tarnished at the end in a way that had no integrity. So you can imagine the scars of that. And in that piece that I did with Rafael Palmeiro, I remember the conversations that we had that I found heartbreaking that he didn't, which is how difficult his father was on him, pushing him toward greatness, heckling him in eighth grade, ninth grade, climbing up on a fence when he'd hit a ball off of the fence. His father would be behind the railing saying if he was a real man, he'd hit it over the damn fence or he'd pull the ball. It got so bad that Rafael Palmeiro's wife would intercept those phone calls after Palmeiro's gone 4 for 5 off Dwight Gooden because his father had some sort of criticism that would be mentally debilitating. So from that prism, the idea that Rafael Palmeiro has chosen to wander minor league baseball fields with his own son in the name of supporting whatever it is that his son is doing, that is an amazing transformation. I understand why it would be the butt of your jokes. I understand why Rafael Palmeiro at 53 playing for the Railroaders would be an absurdity. But what I'm telling you is that when Rafael Palmeiro's dad was 53, what he was doing is making phone calls to his son that his wife had to intercept because they were so cruel and because of how her Hall of Fame husband, or would have been Hall of Fame husband if not for everything that came with the steroid scandal, how wrecked he would be after these conversations with his father. So the idea, I've been wanting to talk to Rafael Palmeiro forever about all of this, but nobody can get a hold of Rafael Palmeiro. He's hiding in the shadows. He's had a weird career, except for the one time he came out to do erectile dysfunction commercials out of nowhere.
Needed the money, yeah.
I think that happened before he needed the money.
Oh.
And I don't think he needs the money.
Stugotz, why would you leap there? What? I was just telling a heartwarming story, or attempting to.
Well,
and you just jumped in with your only contribution of he needed the money.
I mean, why else would he have done it? I was just thinking about it. It is a nice story. It's a heartwarming story. And you're right. He's doing it better with his son than his father did with him. But it does steal some of the thunder away from your son, right? Like Rafael Palmeiro becomes the story of that team now.
You took the reported, journalistic, heartfelt story that I just told about fathers and sons and found the only two places where you could criticize it.
Yeah. That's what I do.
He needed the money. Yeah. He's taking the shine from his son.
I mean, he's on an island.
You were the most despicable person in the history of broadcast words.
Well, thank you. I mean, listen, just hear me out. I mean, you know, he's on an island.
What are you holding in your right hand? What is this crumpled up piece of paper that you just fished out of the trash can while doing your job this impeccably? No, why is there a crumpled piece of paper in your hand? Why? Explain to me.
I was trying to find the name of his team, the Claiborne Railroaders.
Oh, so you can make the railroader jokes that were the next piece in your toolbox?
Really railroading his son, man.
There it is. There it is. So you were looking for the crumpled piece of paper. Yeah. There it is. Stugotz's career. And watch it. You just put some fertilizer on the crumpled piece of paper. It's like a magic act. And like, woo, a beautiful pink flower grows from the sewer. I hate you so much.
Thank you. I mean, I don't know. I love you too.
He needs the money.
Why else would you come out? I mean, you're on a deserted island forever. You come out and you shoot those commercials. I mean,
the commercials were while he was playing. We corrected you already.
Oh, well, no, we corrected you. You made the mistake.
We have a couple Ryan Hollins updates.
Oh, no.
You are flirting with disaster, my friend. Yeah. Billy informs me what?
2 hours ago, Ryan Hollins put up a picture of him eating at the ESPN Cafe in Bristol in a suit. So he's around.
But do we know if he's willing to pick the Sixers? No one's brave enough to pick the Sixers to rally from down 3-0. Somebody's got to do it. At some point in basketball history, somebody's got to be able to do it. And the circumstances are ripe in this particular matchup for it to be the first time it's ever happened. It's why the Sixers, I think they opened at a mild favorite. I think they opened at -1. I saw it someplace -1.
Okay. The line that I saw was at Pick'em, but
you had it at Pick'em. It moved a little bit. At one point, I was surprised that a 3 against a 2 on the road, down 3-1, would be in any way. And you saw what happened last night. The basketball games last night, the point spreads were 11 and 12. And look at what happened in the games. 9 and 10. Like right there, you're dying with every basket because at the end of the game, what happened is what everyone thought was going to happen, which is it's going to be right there at double digits. We don't know how we're going to get there, but you know that somebody is going to get to double digits, and then you're going to be dying at the end with your free throws and some guy you've never heard of, hucking up some sort of mid-range jumper.
Vegas kind of knows what they're doing.
Right, a little bit. Yes. But so on this one, yeah. I was surprised to see, oh, wow, that's a lot of respect for the Sixers. The money, that's a lot of respect for the Sixers. Yeah. They think this is a bit of a mirage. The bettors, I'm not sure how good the odds are you would get right now on Sixers coming back in that series. I don't know that you'd get value there. If you would have gotten it at down 3-0, I don't know if you'd get value right now or feel like you'd be getting value betting Sixers down 3-1 because that's a bet where you expect to lose your money.
Yeah, and if they get it to 3-3, they still have to win a road playoff game.
Which 7. No one ever wins, right? You've got Ben Simmons, 21 years old, and doesn't want to shoot the basketball. You've got him going on the road in Game 7. That's why it never happens. It's why it's so improbable.
Yeah, there's only a few outliers. The Jazz did it, I think, last year, but it's really difficult to do. Hardest thing in that sport to do, I think.
But I believe that the audience thinks that it's possible because you don't believe in the Celtics team. Because who's their star? Like, who is it? You're used to playoff teams that get to the finals. Even if it's in a weak Eastern Conference, you're used to being able to say that team and its star. With very few exceptions, maybe the Detroit Pistons of Chauncey Billups. But
It's Jason Tatum right now.
I mean, it is right now, right? But it's also Terry Rozier right now.
No, I know. And he had a bad game last game, and look what happened. So, but Tatum is the guy. I mean, 6 consecutive games of 20-plus points as a rookie, Dan. Like, very few guys have done that. I think it's LeBron and Jordan.
I know, but Stugotz, somebody for them has to get it for them in order to win.
But he's been getting it efficiently, man. Like, he's been playing
I'm not saying he's not good. Right. I'm just talking about why it is that the money isn't decidedly in the favor of Jason Tatum and the Boston Celtics when all of history supports that the Celtics are going to win that series. And yet I can't bring myself to do it.
You're so
I'm
close.
so close.
You're really close.
Hollins is in Bristol, man. He's he's around live microphones. He can pop on a TV set whenever he wants. I'm telling you, better get this thing in, man.
He was on Mike and Mike yesterday, and it seemed like as though he was starting to build up to that prediction.
Yeah. This is one of the most exciting young teams that we've seen in a really long time.
I mean, look at that.
Oh, no. He is getting close to it.
I know.
He is getting close to it. I don't know what to do. I'm too scared of it, though. I can't be publicly out there. Especially, guys, here's something you haven't considered. These Boston apes that don't understand the joke. You guys have not considered that the Boston apes are just going to hear Batard predicted the Sixers. Look at what an idiot he is. He doesn't know anything. So I'm scared of them.
They're in your head?
I'm very scared.
Really? Right?
Yes.
When have you ever cared?
This one is the one. I never have before now. It makes me feel soft. It makes me feel like a coward. This is the one. I'll always be willing to fight Boston. I'll always be willing to fight anyone who comes from Boston at me with their Bostonianism. But on this one, I'm scared.
Good idea. Let's set up Hollins to say it. Let him deal with the Boston fans.
Oh, no, it'll be worse for him. Trust, it'll be worse for him. I don't know why, but it'll be worse for him.
Dan Le Batard.
Finally, Jane's Addiction frontman, Perry Farrell?
Stugotz.
Perry Farrell. Farrell. Perry Farrell.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
I don't know if any of you are bird watchers, you like to watch animals in the wild, but you just saw some classic Discovery Channel Stugotz in his natural habitat stuff. Can't pronounce Khan, pronounce it Canes, lashes out at Bill and Ted's. Like that's textbook note hitting from Stugotz. It's musical in nature. You watch it in the wild. You guys should be thrilled that you got to see it. He pronounced Cannes, the famous film festival, as Canes, and then got mad at Bill and Ted.
Canes Film Festival. Listen, whether I said it right or not, I still would have gotten mad at Bill and Ted. No one wants to see that movie. I mean, it's honest the thing about it. No one.
I mean, you said it was a much anticipated third installment. I mean, you read it. I heard you say it.
Well, that's the way it was written. I mean, if I wrote it, which I never would, but if I did, I would not write it that way. I would write, "Hey, Bill and Ted, they're making a third installment. No one wants to see it."
How's that even going to work in 2018? Because they were in a time-traveling phone booth. Where are they going to find one of those now?
Well, put it on the poll. Are you here for a third installment of Bill and Ted's?
It's got to be funny because they're 30 years older now. What has happened in their lives? It's going to be hilarity is going to ensue. Are they the same Bill and Ted, or did they get jobs and cut their hair? Is one a lawyer?
Guillermo, put that on the poll as well.
Is one selling life insurance?
Not any of that. Just will hilarity ensue? Yes or no? Will hilarity ensue? In the interim, speaking of hilarity, Bill, you want to read for the people that story you were telling about Ichiro?
Yeah, this is from Peter Gammons of The Athletic. So I'll just read directly. One morning in spring training 2017, he was in the coach's room looking at his cell phone text messages. He's talking about Ichiro. Ichiro told his coaches about one message he had just received from a number he didn't recognize. The guy said he'd gotten Ichiro's number from Alex Rodriguez and that he wanted to come meet him and study his stretching system. What's the guy's name? Asked one of the coaches. Ichiro strolled to the end of the text. Some guy named Tom Brady. Who the bleep is Tom Brady?
Some guy named Tom Brady asked Ichiro about his stretching. Ichiro, one thing Ichiro has done that is fairly amazing in his career and being around still in baseball in his 40s, this has to be part of the reason. He spends most of his outfield time stretching. The downtime where he's just standing there, he spends a great deal of it stretching. So he's basically doing 3 hours of yoga a night.
Brady and A-Rod. Really makes you think, huh?
That what? They're talking about what it's like to date famous people or be married to famous people?
I'll leave it to your imagination.
Thank you for just throwing that fish on my lap, leaving it to my imagination, saying nothing else, and in saying nothing else, saying nothing at all, and yet accusing both an ESPN employee and Tom Brady, if people are to take your insinuations. Why is Ryan Hollins
big problem
on the television right now? Is that a re-air?
That's not Ryan.
That's not Ryan Hollins. That's a big fine.
Huge fine, $500.
I got to be honest here. What just happened there was I was not confusing two black guys. That's not what happened there. What happened there is I saw an excitement in the studio, and I looked over to my right and saw pointing. I don't know what you guys were pointing about. Excitement and enthusiasm, and I thought it's because you guys wanted me to break into some Ryan Hollins coverage. I had not actually seen who I was looking at before that.
That is a deflection, because the only person in these two studios that was pointing was Sausage Fingers over here, and you followed his lead, because whatever you did, you were following his lead, and he was absolutely doing what you said you weren't.
Well, that's not fair.
It may not be fair, but I feel like it's accurate on what it is that happened. All I know is there was a lot of enthusiasm, and I got disoriented. I was in the middle of trying to walk back. Here's the thing, okay?
I always point to the screen when David Lloyd is hosting.
I want to take a janitorial inventory of what just happened here in our studio. It reminds me of the Jonathan Coachman moment, although the Jonathan Coachman moment, we were not quite as relaxed as an entity as we are now. So let me explain to you what just happened so that you can glorify the mighty incompetence that is the cartoon character Stugotz, who will carry us all, as he already has, to greatness. I was in the process of trying to walk back what Stugotz said about ESPN employee Alex Rodriguez and Tom Brady. Recklessly just threw it out there and, did jazz hands and did his thing.
Whoa, the A-Rod thing is known.
Yeah. And I just said leave it to your imagination.
That's right. So I'm trying to walk that back for Stugotz so we can continue to remain employed at the network and he can continue to cash those checks. And in the middle of that, Stugotz pointed to the screen.
David Lloyd.
To confuse Ryan Hollins with C.J. McCollum.
That's all on me. Listen, there are a couple of things you can't blame me for, and one of them is your imagination.
Play the sound of Stugotz with Jonathan Coachman. This is an actual thing that happened on our air that was handled very seriously by way of apology on our show. Stugotz, you should probably apologize here. We should apologize for what happened last segment. It went off the rails on us. What do you want to say?
I will apologize. You don't need to apologize for anything. I need to apologize. They are my weekend observations. I said what I said. I had no idea, and I apologize to Jonathan Coachman, who has tweeted at us, and he's upset and has every right to be upset. I honestly, and anyone who knows me will understand this and believe this, I honestly, until after the segment ended and we went to commercial break, had no idea that Jonathan Coachman was black.
All right. The cadence on that is musical. It is musical. It's the most musical thing in the history of our show that is not that Dwayne Wade clip. The way Guillermo, put this on the poll. Which one of these is better? The musical way that this city councilwoman butchers the introduction of Dwayne Wade with all of the syllable counts you need to arrive at the punchline at the very end. Is this sound?
He's calm, collected, has a will to win because his name, of course, is Wade Jones.
His name? Who that is? The cadence is perfect. It's musical. I claim it's the most musical thing in the history of this show. I have a new nominee. right here, having seen the cadence of how Stugotz. Now, keep in mind, this wasn't a punchline at the time. It's only a punchline in retrospect. This was a confusion that actually happened at Stugotz's house while he and his wife were discussing how handsome Jonathan Coachman and Max Brados are. Stugotz, you should probably apologize here. We should apologize for what happened last segment. It went off the rails on us. What do you want to say?
I will apologize. You don't need to apologize for anything. I need to apologize. They are my weekend observations. I said what I said. I had no idea, and I apologize to Jonathan Coachman, who has tweeted at us, and he's upset and has every right to be upset. I honestly, and anyone who knows me will understand this and believe this, I honestly, until after the segment ended and we went to commercial break, had no idea that Jonathan Coachman was black.
Mike shouted in the last sentence, this is my favorite part. Anyone who knows me would know that this is the most. I thought a black guy wasn't black. That's just me. Anyone who knows me
knows that how this could happen to me.
You understand. I mean, it's one of the greatest apologies ever because, yes, of course, we all understand.
All this because I pointed at David Lloyd.
You can listen to the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz 10 to 1 Eastern on ESPN Radio, and you can watch on ESPN News.